want to share something with you, a couple of things. The first is having to do with a rotary cutter. My home state of Tennessee is where the original bush hog was invented, and got looking into patents and things like that and offering what I'm about to show you to them, and the price was too steep, too much, and so now it's going to be public domain, what I'm about to show you. And it is a disclaimer, this is for entertainment purposes only, and these modifications I'm about to show you do at your own risk. And this machine, when it was originally invented, this is a Ford rotary cutter. You'll hear the word bush hog, but it's actually a rotary cutter manufactured by Ford. And it has a Lamborghini gearbox, just like the sports car. It's very old, and it has a very high horsepower rating. And this is a collaboration of parts. The back wheel is actually John Deere. The gearbox is Lamborghini. The deck, what's left of it, is Ford. The drive shaft is independent. And then I've got a clutch right here. It's also independent. Now, my horsepower output on this tractor is 30 at the flywheel. It's the 790 John Deere, and I financed this through John Deere Corporation in 2004, 2005, and back then everything was done over the telephone, a landline, and not everybody had cell phones back then. And anyway, I was with my dealer, and he was having a conference call with the finance agents through Deere Corporation. They asked me what I was going to do with the tractor. And this was a live phone call, and I said, I'm going to level dozer piles and drag logs with it. Well, my dealer covers the mouthpiece up on the phone and says, you can't do that. That's not what this tractor's intended to do. But long story short, we financed it, and that's what I did. Just a few months ago, you saw me change the hydraulic fluid and filter out on this tractor. Reason being, I busted the filter, which is located right here on the tractor. And how'd I do that? Dragging logs and leveling dozer piles. And this tractor will go places a skidder won't. Barring running over trees and things of that nature. But anyway, I take this bush hog into places it was never intended to go, and do things it was not intended to do. If the tractor will ride it down, the bush hog will cut it. This gearbox has a high horsepower rating. Before I got the clutch, I carried a bag of shear pins with me. I ground up stuff that was unbelievable. I would break shear pins, change them out. Well, long story short, underneath here, I broke the blade carrier twice, and originally being a welder by trade, I welded her back together and put it back together. This is the stump jumper, and this thing has been broke and pieced back together several times. And the dilemma is, when you go into a place, rough brush, and chop that stuff up, you dull your blades if they make it out without being broken. So, and you come out into grass and you want to mow grass, you've got to sharpen your blades or your blades will not cut. Well, the solution for that was to drill those blades and install Swisher cutting line, 0.155 inch diameter, 18-inch length pieces. Now what we did, my father and I told him what I wanted to do, and we took carbide drill bits. It took us 2 drill bits to drill 4 holes through these hardened bush hog blades. There, I said it, rotary cutter blades. So we did that, and I kind of measured out how I wanted things to work. And a fresh piece of line will look about like this. So we've got 9 inches coming out of the holes, and obviously when the thing gets up to speed, they whip the deck under there. They keep the deck underside clean, and they mow grass very well. So that was one of the things that I was going to present to the BUSHHOG company, but didn't. And it's now public domain. So, carbide drill bit, I don't think I've ever seen this. I personally haven't ever seen this before. And drill those blades. Now, this is a 5-foot width rotary cutter. Now, you can multiply or divide that with what you're doing. This will work on a 6-footer, 7-footer. It'll work on a batwing rotary cutter. You just got to do a little math and a little trying. And I suppose you could burn these holes with a torch if you were good, or a plasma cutter, but I used a carbide drill bit. Now, the second modification that I did, as I was talking to you earlier, Jerry B. Cantrell originally fabbed this up for me in a heavy-duty application. You can see we've got some very heavy steel around this gearbox here. It is very strong. And like I say, we put a clutch in it, a slip clutch, drive shaft, and right here is the next thing I want to show you. I've got a tape right here. I added a hitch pin 8 inches lower than what the original was, approximately 8 inches. Now what this does is allows articulation of this cutter at a higher angle. I can back up on a tree or a big bush, back up to the top and grind it down. And that's what I do with this thing, and it'll do it. Like I said earlier, the tractor will ride it down, the rotary cutter will cut it. If you look right here, you'll see I busted it up. We put new sleds on it, new skids, and that's all the way around. Also, we fabbed this up. My dad built this for me. We put that on. Works very well. So that's about it. If you want to cut grass with a heavy-duty rotary cutter, but you don't want to sharpen blades all the time, burn you some holes in there and use this Swisher heavy line. It's like a giant weed eater after you do that. So I'm in here today on an old logging road, doing some bucking and blocking, cleaning up on a log deck. We talked a lot about real world work and doing real stuff with saws besides cookies. So this is a log road back through here, and I'm going to demo my Swisher setup on my Ford rotary cutter. You see I've cut a lot of the bigger saplings out of here already, and look at some of these briars. So I'm about 6'5". You can see this stuff is head high on me. We'll walk back through it and give you a look at it. And it's briars, I'll call it briars. So old rough stuff. So I'm gonna mow plumb up to this tree line. These are river birches right here. Mow all this. Get you up in here where you can see about how big this stuff is. This is a sweet gum sapling right here. A gum. So see this back here behind me. Pretty big stuff. Get in here on this. There's my hand in comparison. These are probably blackberry briars, and it's pretty thick. So I'm going to come up in here and back end all this with my Swisher equipped rotary cutter, and I'm going to clean this up. Did a video a while back about all this. Planted all this about 20 years ago, I guess. And anyway, had it logged in 2018, and this is the old log road right here. I've already run over this, and you can see a lot of this right here went in and cut, stacked. I'm going to install some new Swisher up under this rotary cutter here. I'll get you set up where you can see what I'm doing. So here's what I'm talking about. These are 18 inches long, and hopefully in some of this other footage you'll see me talking about this setup. Now here's one. I've run this one a couple of years, so you can see they wear well in this stuff, and this keeps you from having to do so much sharpening. And we'll replace this other one also, and it's down to a nub. So there's about 2 years, and I'll bush hog. I've got a spot here that's just under 15 acres, and then I've got a place I go in and bush hog some walking trails on, but I don't bush hog at all. So we'll change these out right quick. Angle you up a little bit where you can see what I'm doing. So got 2 holes. And just kind of work that in there. You want them sort of even, like that. Spin her around here. Here's our other side. There we go. I kind of talked to you about this before. I have busted this blade carrier twice, and like I say, I abuse this machine, and we're fixing to abuse it right now. So set you up and let you kind of watch what I do with this thing, and it may be boring, but it may be interesting to some people. I think there's a visually noticeable difference. So we wrote this stuff down and we chopped it up. Let me grab you a big handful of it. So not only does it chop it up real good, but it mulches it. Now, you think about this. So let's look at our cutting edges. You've got 4 of these swinging at a high RPM. In addition to the blades. And the whole purpose of doing this is so you don't have to resharpen these blades all the time. I got some stuff up under there, but you see this? And I know that's just a few minutes. But these things will last and last and last and last and last. Let's walk over this, look at it right quick. So this is mulched. I do have big feet, but it doesn't even come up over the sole of my boot, much less the toe. This is very well mulched. You heard me get into some big stuff. There's for reference. So, and we come in here with a rake and rake all this stuff up and burn it and grow grass in here next year if we wanted to. But the setup works really well, and you can see the articulation due to the pin mod. So we'll fire up the 372 and cut up these tops and get us a little. I wanted to do that shut off on camera. I've done it for fun aplenty, but so in my opinion this looks a lot better than it did when I started this morning, and that was the bigger stuff that we cut out before I went in with the rotary cutter slash bush hog and kind of burned it on down and trim this river birch up. This comes from TSU, Tennessee State University Research Center. I've got an uncle that works there. My daughter worked there in her college education. Anyway, this is some of what I benefited from. This is, like I was telling you earlier, this is an old logging road, and I'll sweep this side off. There's a lot of stumps and stobs out in this area. We'll sweep this side of the road off, make it drivable while it's dry. It started out real pretty today, sunny, and it got overcast, and when I first started with the saw there, it was raining just ever so slightly. This is October the 15th, year of our Lord 2022. I got married on this day in 1994, and it's been happily ever after. So happy anniversary to my wife, and thank everybody out there for watching.